when we talk about film festivals, it is for actors like you, because me being a Bengali, I have seen you do so many films in different languages that, first of all, he is a true blue pan India actor. Can we just give him a round of applause for that? Sir, how do you manage to do so many projects in different languages? Before we get to how it all began, I want to know, how do you manage to, do you learn the languages?
I can speak four languages fluently, but if I have to do a Malayalam film, then if I have time, then only I do it because it takes time to. Oh my god, such a difficult language because it's nothing compared to what we speak in this part of the world, this part of India. It's very different. So I take time. I just recently acted in a film called Ota. Rasul Pukuti is a very Oscar winner sound designer. He directed this film and he said, Adil, you have to speak in Malayalam. I'm like, no, Rasul, please don't do this to me. No, you have to be in my film and you have to speak in Malayalam. So I had to do it, and so yeah, I have to learn. I have to learn how to do it, and it's not easy when you don't have time. Similarly, like I had to do a Norwegian film, so somehow, for some reason, Norwegian, because we know English, and I spent around 3.5 years in the Netherlands, so Norwegian was easier than doing it in Tamil or Malayalam.
Wow.
Can you believe it? Because of English language. And German is a different language, but I lived, as I said, I speak niet groot beetje Netherlands. That's why I could manage to speak in Norwegian, because there are similarities between the Scandinavian languages. Because I was a stand-up comic, and I loved mimicry, and mimicry is only possible when you are a keen observer, when you hear well, when you see,
True.
when you observe, when you are empathetic also. That's, I think, is the most important aspect. Otherwise become caricaturish. Imitation should not become caricaturish, it should become real. Like the difference between cartoon and a photograph. Cartoon is a caricature of a person. A photograph, a good photograph, there are so many different kinds of photographs, of course. A good photograph is a real representation of the person. So imitation without empathy is like a cartoon. So if you are imitating someone, that means you have to hear, you have to listen more, you have to be empathetic, and you have to feel the person. Then only you can imitate
Who all did you
properly.
imitate?
I started with my dad, and then I went to my teachers, like everybody else, I think. And so learning language and sound of language is what attracts me. Like, মই মানে যেতিয়া অসমীয়াত কথা পাতো অসমীয়া এনেকে হয়গে আৰু when I speak in Assamese, you feel in a certain way. When I speak in English or Hindi, for example, if I start not making caricature out of a French accent, suppose I was like to speak like this, you feel in a certain way, but not necessarily. So you, even the sound which comes out from your being and the body, it makes you feel in a certain way. That feeling I'm talking about to catch, not only the sound, not only the outer aspect of the language. So, because of that, I think I had a knack of being interested in the other. That my teacher always said, if you want to be a good actor, then you must be interested, genuinely interested about the other person more than you. So you don't become an arrogant bastard. You give importance to the other person. And great advice I got from a Japanese actor who says that when you act, you focus on the co-actor. You don't think of yourself. You always make space for the co-actor to act. हमारे यहाँ क्या होता है? We try
Insecurities
to
coming.
upstage the other person. We try to, अरे ये क्या करेगा? मैं करके दिखा दूंगा ना. That attitude is the worst. It's a poison for to become a better actor. You should never outsmart your co-actor. You should do the opposite. You give space to the co-actor. How do you give space? By focusing on the other person, by listening well, by looking at the eyes if you can, or by being, or even the other actor is trying to outsmart you, then also you do the same. You look, you receive, you respect, and in the process, you will end up acting well.
I was actually gonna ask you that. That has there ever been occasions where you felt like the other person you're acting in the scene with, they're trying to really like outstage you?
Yeah, I had experienced that when I acted in a mobile theater company in Assam, and I laughed because I thought that was very funny. You know, some people would very get angry. My friend said, "Adil, don't get angry." I'm like, why would I get angry if somebody wants to upstage me? It's a very funny thing to do. It's so stupid. It's like an 8-year-old child would do it. No,
That's true.
I mean,
There are many who
why
don't.
would a grown-up person with some sensitivity would try to outsmart the other person? I mean, it's a child's act, and most males are mostly 8-year-olds. That's why the culture of getting married to a younger woman exists, because women mature faster than men.
Everybody, every
No
woman in the
men are
audience,
clapping. I think the men
all
are like,
women are clapping.
क्या बात कर रहे हो आदिल यार तुम तो ज्यादा ही बोल रहे हो बड़ा feminist बन गए तुम. No, but that's true. Yeah, it's true. I know. Sorry.
Even if he is a big officer or anything, but men are like that.
Yeah. No, you know the reason why. I'm not a sociologist, neither I'm an anthropologist, nor I have any degree of any specialization in this field. I found out one reason that men, they lack 4 organs in their body. There is no womb, no uterus, no ovaries, and no breasts. We are simplistically designed human organism. We don't have those organs which will make us feel by conceiving a baby. Imagine if I was a woman and I would keep a baby in my womb for 9 months. I would have the greatest opportunity to cultivate what is empathy, what is
True.
compassion, what is tolerance of pain, what is to be graceful with the pain. Men do not experience that. We have to work hard to become a person the half of the woman that I am with. I have to really work hard, and that's why I also urge all the women. You know, I also urge all the women in the audience and whoever going to watch this that be compassionate towards men because they are simpletons. You know, you they don't know that they are so terrible. They don't know that they are so bad. They think like the character that I played in English. That I didn't know I was so stupid. So it is important, I think.
But sir, I want to know that you are a feminist, but you're an artist, and then you have to play a character which is completely different from your ideologies. When people who don't know you will watch you on screen, they sometimes could take away, because you're such a brilliant actor, that you may be like that. How many times have you got that compliment or
Oh
question?
yeah, several times. But very special voice note I received from a neurologist, a neurosurgeon who practices her surgery in Assamese one in Toronto. She sent me a voice note. She didn't know me. She found my number from a friend's friend. She sent me a voice note on WhatsApp saying that a 3.5-year-old baby boy or girl, I forgot, who had been undergoing 35 neurological operations, surgery, since last 4 or 5 years. And the mother comes with the baby every time for the surgery. And mother goes to the surgery room, and the baby would undergo surgery for sometime 10 hours, for 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours. And mother would go to a waiting room and she watches my film. She knows that if she watches, she's telling me, this neurosurgeon, that she said to neurosurgeon mother that if I watch Adil Hussein's film, my baby will be okay. I know it. So I was touched and moved, and I wept when I heard that. I never thought an actor's work can reach that state. that kind of, I no I know I feel that what you're saying, how it is related, I'm going to tell you that, because if you are practicing truly the art of acting, and if you giving आप 100% जो है उस, अगर इसके बावजूद कि जो किरदार आप कर रहे हो, the character you're playing is terrible, but you are embracing the character without an iota of judgment to fit into the character. If this is the, if this is the character, and then I am the water, and I'm fitting into this bottle as an actor, water is, consider that as an actor, that water is actor and bottle is the character, and I would not be able to fit in if I have a tiny bit of judgment fully. I will not be able to fit in fully if I have tiny bit of judgment about the character I am playing. So I have to practice, I would call the Jesus syndrome, that forgive them, Lord, they know not what they are doing. I must forgive the character what the character is doing, and I have to fully embrace it. So my journey as an actor in life is to walk towards a person who is large hearted, so that I can have the courage and a large heart enough to embrace a character who is as stupid or as brutal or as unlikable, as sick as the person who kills people or whatever. So I cannot be a mean guy and play a mean role. I can, but then the impact would not be what I just said about that voice note. That is very important. So an actor's journey, abhineta ka matlab hai the one who transports, the one who elevates, the one who brings awareness towards a macro space from the micro space. इस वजह से इंग्लिश विंग्लिश के बाद जो मेरी सबसे मेरे ख्याल से जाने माने फिल्म है, उसके बाद मैं जो फिल्में मैं करता हूँ वो बहुत इंडिपेंडेंट फिल्म करता हूँ, जागरण फिल्म फेस्टिवल, being very kind to my kind of film and shows us here. Otherwise, you don't get to see those films, and I love them. I love those films. So, उस किस्म के फिल्म इंग्लिश विंग्लिश जैसे फिल्म में करने के बाद, lot of people came to me at the airport or wherever I go sometimes, especially women. Oh, I loved your character, and I was surprised. How can you love my character?
Because
I
you
was
must have
such
changed.
a, that unparliamentary word. How can I? How can you love my character? Then I realized, even the husband present, he said he's a bit like you. And then husband would very reluctantly acknowledge that. And then I asked the husband that, do you hate me? No. It's good. We must all learn. So did I answer your question? Sort of,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
No? Yeah.
You know, over the last 2 days, the conversations that I've had, so many people have sat in the audience and heard the stories. One thing that has been a common factor is that whoever I spoke to have had parents who supported their dreams. But I know that many in the audience would also be from that section where they didn't get support from their own loved ones when they told them about their dreams. I know it for a fact that when you chose to act, your father and you did have like a turbulent kind of a relationship.
My mom was, she was there always with me, uh, shielding me from my dad's anger and my dad's whatever. My dad was an art lover. He was an extremely well-read, and he was a scholar basically. He loved theater. He loved film, but he was just scared. He was just scared that how will this guy from Gwalpara, where newspaper used to come 3 days after they were published, यहाँ से कैसे, क्या होगा उसके इस बंदे का, ये तो बिना मतलब बिना खाए मर जाएंगे, कमाने का पैसा कैसे कमाएंगे, ये डर जो है वो बहुत ही भारी पड़ता है. Now I'm a father. Now if Kabir, our son, he wants to say become a gardener, for example, I'll say, are you sure about it? He loves gardening. No, he didn't say that. I'm just making it up. Or he says, I would like to be a potter. I'd like to, and I'm like, how would I respond? Probably I will say, try to pretend to be like generous father. Yes, son, go ahead, do your thing. I have to say that because I have to walk my talk.
Absolutely.
I can't just say, oh no, you can't do it. You have to do it and help him out as much as a father can. And my father never left any money for me. He gave me 250 rupees per month when I came to study in Guwahati. He knew that this guy has not gone to study; he has gone to do films in Guwahati from my hometown. And but he did, at least he gave 250, so which was not huge amount of money. And so we four of us, we gathered 50 rupees each, and 200 rupee the rent of the house was a thatch hut. Yeah, so my father had the issue. That was, I'm talking about 1982. In 2001 I did a play in England, and I was interviewed on BBC.
Yes.
एंड आई डिडंट नो दैट वाज वो ऑलरेडी टेलीकास्ट हो चुका था. तो मैं दिल्ली पहुंचा, फिर आके आसाम गया, और मेरे पिताजी लिविंग रूम में टीवी के सामने बैठे हैं, और कुछ और न्यूज़ देख, वो ही वाज अ डिवारर ऑफ न्यूज़, मतलब ऑल न्यूज़. सो उन्होंने कहा कि, और हमेशा मुझसे वो अंग्रेजी में बात करते थे, तो मुझे कहा कि यू मस्ट बी डूइंग समथिंग गुड. So I was like, he was already 90, around 89, 90. I said, oh, why do you say that? He said, no, I saw your interview on BBC. I'm like, अच्छा, तो इसके साथ मैं अच्छा करने का क्या संपर्क है उसका? What is the relationship between the two? Isn't it BBC would not interview someone who is not good, no? Wait. Then I said, Acha, so you trust BBC more than your son? so, so he said, you have a point. I said, I do have a point. So my mom was always with me. My dad finally thought that I was doing something good 2 years before he passed away. And so I'm happy at least that he saw that. Yeah.
But did you feel that you got the biggest validation that day?
Yeah, I thought that at least after he said that you're doing something good, and after I said that, well, you trust BBC more than your son, then he said, but where is the money? How much money do you have in your pocket? I said 100 rupees. See, what will you do with these interviews? So, but he felt good, so he understood that. So that was a good day.
सर देयर इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम, मतलब ये ना एक बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. हम लोग जब हम लोग इंटरव्यूज भी करते हैं ना, वी ऑफन आस्क वुमेन दिस क्वेश्चन, स्पेशली फीमेल एक्टर्स, कि आपको पे डिस्पैरिटी के बारे में क्या बात करनी है. बट पे डिस्पैरिटी इज नॉट जस्ट लिमिटेड टू वुमेन. I feel it's a problem across the globe. Um, I sometimes feel that, of course, we love stars. There are stars that we love, adore, idolize, but there are also actors who are great actors, artists, and like you said, that they don't have the same amount of money for the art that they stand for. It's very difficult. कभी कभी बहुत मुश्किल होती होगी कि पैसे, जेब जब खाली होती है ना, जब खाने को प्रॉब्लम होती है, तब आर्ट तो खिला नहीं सकता, because you need somebody to pay for that art as well. How many difficult days did you see for that, and do you believe that today also, although we are rapidly advancing towards a better world, a star takes a huge amount of money from the budget, but the actors are often not so well paid?
I'll be in trouble if I answer that question, but I will. I will. I officially am saying I am totally against stardom. Totally. I think that does disservice to this society. There shouldn't be any kind of worshipping of stars of any kind, not only in the films, in cricket, in any other field. And the responsibility doesn't necessarily, the not worshipping the stars, how does one communicate this to the common people? It has to be communicated by the so-called stars. Some people call me celebrity. I'm like, Why are you celebrating me? Why not the person who is cleaning the street? Why can't his work or her work be celebrated? Why can't we celebrate that person who is holding that camera there, or whoever, all the people, the farmers, everybody should be celebrated, no? Why, I'm already in front of the camera. Why should I be more important just because I'm in front of the camera? That is, I think, very stupid and immature. And also, I have seen this not happening in other countries, like in Scandinavia. If the prime minister comes to a restaurant and sits and has his food or her food, and the other people, those who are eating food, they say, "Hello, prime minister." And, "Hi, hoe gaat het met alles goed? Ja, alles goed." That's it. The most developed country in the world, and the prime minister of that developed country behaving like that. So, India, we need to learn a lot from these kind of behavior. That अच्छा एक्टिंग करते हो तो कौन सा बड़ी बात है भाई, आप मतलब कौन सा तुक मार ले, एक्टिंग ही तो कर रहे हो ना, बाकी लोग तो और भी मुश्किल काम कर रहे हैं, आप तो आगे बैठे यहाँ दो चार डायलॉग बोल दिया और बस आपने हो गया। और कैसे आदिल, माय नेम इज आदिल हुसैन, और बहुत मुश्किल से हमने मतलब आवाज मोटा करके आप थोड़ा सा अपने आप को और ग्रेविटास बढ़ा के, I find it like, as I said, 8-year-old child would behave like that. Not a mature person would behave like that. So, not getting paid, people, the question that you asked me, and I think that is injustice. It should definitely go. And I feel that this culture of disparity of payment, I can only give my views about it. Probably the solution is education from the young age. The dignity of labor must be respected of everybody. Only during pandemic we realized that how important the cleaners were, the what do you call that, the frontline workers were, how important the driver of an ambulance is. You know how important the owner of an ambulance is. I face it. My wife's uncle died because he couldn't get an ambulance. It took me 5 hours to organize an ambulance. I had to tweet to get an ambulance. Then you realize how important that is. So this is a country, India, that we need to re-educate, understand education. I think the education system now that India follows should be like हम गंगा में विसर्जन देते हैं, उनको विसर्जन देके एक नया एजुकेशन सिस्टम जो पहले था, अंग्रेज आने से पहले जो था, गुरुकुल सिस्टम था, उस किस्म के एजुकेशन में ले आना पड़ेगा, ताकि और गुरुकुल आने के बाद भी उसमें हायरार्की जो है उसको हटाना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम फ्यूडल भी है और उसके वजह से जो हायरार्की हम पैदा करते हैं, वो हायरार्की से कैसे हम मुक्त कर सकते हैं अपने आप को.
Absolutely. But do you feel like the point that I was trying to make is that when there is a movie, which is Kabir Singh, which makes 280 crores, people talk about it, people have social commentary on it, which is absolutely fine. And then there's a movie called Thappar, which is a counter to that movie in a lot of ways, and it's absolutely standing with the people's sentiment who made those social commentary when the movie came out. But the difference in the collections of the movie, which is audience going to the theaters, one is at 280 crores and the other is at 40 crores, which is 1/7. So I feel that as an audience also, as a past person from the audience also, we somehow let our actors down. And I'm not talking about stars, I'm talking about actors, that we possibly don't spend enough and invest enough in those who we feel are great actors. Did you ever feel that? Did you ever have those days, like you said, that you've not been paid? Did you ever feel that? Why is the audience not coming and watching something which I'm so proud of and which possibly is great content?
Well, the cinema literacy in India is very poor, along with the other literacy. So I feel that until they realize what the worth of a film or an actor or a subject is, it becomes very difficult for us to, sort of get the audiences in, and then we are restricted to digital platforms. So unless, if we keep giving them, if we keep drugging them with these formula films, and they have no other option, they just keep watching that. But if you stop that, If that flow is stopped and if more sensible cinema of substance is given, then again they will have no option and they will go and watch this. Slowly you'll develop cinema literacy. This is what I feel. So it's not, I don't blame the audiences totally for this. I blame the system in which we are all bogged down, that cinema is treated in a very frivolous manner and not as a serious subject.
Absolutely agree with him. And for example, a film I did, Norwegian film called What Will People Say? That film ran for 6 months in Norway. It is considered an art house film in India, but it is a big hit in Norway. मुक्ति भवन इंडिया के मेरे ख्याल से 40 थिएटर में उसका हम रिलीज कर पाए, अपने प्रोड्यूसर अपने पैसे से कर लिए. And it didn't run for more than 3 days or 4 days, but it ran for 150 days in 30 cinema halls in Japan. It ran for 5 weeks in the UK. It ran for 5 weeks or less or more in Spain and other Western European countries. That's why the importance of film festival like Jagran Film Festival is important. That we are putting a drop in the ocean, but at least it's a drop. Wonderful word he used, drugged by those binary films and some dance and some fear, some violence, some sex. ये ड्रग है. तो उस किस्म के फिल्म देख के हमारा जो इमोशनल हेल्थ, हमारा सेरिब्रल हेल्थ, health of intelligence, understanding of shukshmata, subtle aspects of life is being numbed. So it has to be re-educated, and I think we can catch hold of from young age. In the schools, cinema could be a subject. Films should be not only in film institute. नहीं तो फिल्म इंस्टीट्यूट के लोग जब बाहर आते हैं बॉम्बे में, यार ये लोग पागल लोग ये 4-5 लोग डिग्री लेके आए, ये लोग क्या कहते हैं समाज को परिवर्तन करेंगे, SRFT कहाँ जाएंगे बेचारे ये लोग. You understand what I mean?
But do you feel as an actor, as an artist, the respect and the perception towards actors like you have changed a bit? Like,
No, see, I'm sitting here. I'm anti. It is changing. He's here, and who I had worked with in 2 films, and both the films, one I haven't seen yet, but I trust him. The one film, The Storyteller, has gone across the globe and it has gained so much respect and love from ordinary audiences from different parts of the world. Yes, it is changing. But the trouble is that we are 1.4 billion population, so it takes time to change that. And I hope that we must do more. Jagaran should not only go to 18 cities, it should go to 1,800 cities. I know it is difficult. I'm making a
Jagran team is listening, and I think Jagran team is gonna go do this, make this happen.
Because that is your specialty, Jagran Film Festival, that you go to 18 cities in 12 states. But I think you should go to 1,800 cities. This is how you do it, And in the halls, in the schools, in the primary schools. That's how probably perception will change about good cinema. When I say good cinema, means meaningful, which helps you to increase your awareness, which helps you to create your awareness about life, the meaning of life. Why to ask these $1 billion questions? Who are we? What are we doing here? Why am I here? When am I here? The time, the political time, the social time, the cosmic time. All the questions that you can ask in relation to the other, my parents, my family, my society, my country, my world, and the relationship between you and the universe at large. Then only I will call it cinema.
Now I'm gonna open the floor to some questions from the audience.
हेलो सर, मेरा नाम ज्ञान है और मैं एक जर्नलिज्म का स्टूडेंट हूँ एंड साथ साथ थिएटर भी कर रहा हूँ. सर, जैसा कि हमें पता है कि आप थिएटर बैकग्राउंड से भी हो, आपने काफ़ी थिएटर किया है. सर, मेरा सवाल ये है कि हम जैसे स्टूडेंट जो और थिएटर करना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि जब हमने ये डिसाइड किया था कि हम इस फील्ड में जाना चाहते हैं, तो हमने आपके इंटरव्यूज़ देखे थे और आपके जैसे जो एक्टर्स हैं उनके इंटरव्यूज़ देखे थे. तो उसमें हमने ये सीखा था कि हमें बहुत मेहनत करनी है, हमें उस क्राफ्ट को बहुत अच्छे से सीखना है, हमें बहुत टाइम स्पेंड करना है उन चीज़ों को लेके. बट जैसा कि मैं आज ऑब्जर्व कर पा रहा हूँ कि उतनी गहराई के साथ आज की जो थिएटर सोसाइटीज़ हैं वो काम नहीं कर रही है, टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट. सो सर मेरा सवाल ये है कि हम कहाँ जाएं अगर हम किसी एक थिएटर ग्रुप के साथ जुड़ते हैं तो वो आजकल बहुत कमर्शियलाइज हो रही है, वो बहुत ज़्यादा प्लेज करना चाह रही हैं, ये चीज़ों को ध्यान में नहीं रखते हुए कि हम किसी एक चीज़ पे बहुत अच्छे से काम करें। तो सर मेरा सवाल ये है कि अगर कोई अकेला इंसान है, उसे थिएटर करना है, उसे वो क्राफ्ट सीखना है, तो वो क्या करे?
टैगोर की वो गाना आपने सुने होंगे, যদি কেউ ডাক শুনে তোর না আসলে একলা চলো রে। एंड इट इज नॉट फॉर नथिंग, आई थिंक इट हैज गॉट ग्रेट मीनिंग। उसके वैल्यू अगर आप पहचानते हो, अगर आपको अकेला करना है तो अकेला करना है भाई। कैसे अकेले थिएटर करते हैं, कैसे करते हैं ना, मैं बताता हूं आपको। आपके पास इंटरनेट है, गूगल में जाइए और सोलो परफॉर्मेंसेस के स्क्रिप्ट्स डाउनलोड करिए और उसको प्रैक्टिस करिए। जो आपके दोस्त हैं या टीचर्स हैं कोई, जिनको शायद आपसे ज्यादा थोड़ा बहुत जानकारी होगी, उनको दिखाइए और पूछिए क्या क्या गलती है। और दो तीन चार दोस्त हैं उनको घर पे बुलाइए। आपका घर तो है, अब तो स्टे मतलब यू आर नॉट ऑन द प्लेटफॉर्म ना, यू आर नॉट स्लीपिंग ऑन द रेलवे प्लेटफॉर्म। नहीं नहीं, हो सकता है और आश्चर्य भी नहीं होगा मुझे, अच्छा नॉर्मल है इंडिया में। तो उनको बुलाइए, उनको तीन चार लोगों को बिठाइए चेयर में और बोले मैं नाटक करूंगा, दिखाइए। उनको खराब लगे तो खाना भी खिला दीजिए, थोड़ा बहुत मैगी शैगी बना के, जो भी आपके आपके हैसियत में पैसे के हैसियत से हो जाता है। तो जब आप करते रहोगे, एक्टिंग अगर आप करना चाहते हो बिना ये सोचे कि मुझे फेमस बनना है, वो तो शायद आप बन भी पाओ नहीं भी बन पाओ, लेकिन एक्टिंग से अगर आप लगाओ, आपका प्रेम है, तो फिर आपको एक्टिंग करना पड़ेगा, ना कि किसी का इंतजार करें कि वो बुलाएंगे तब मैं करूंगा। नहीं होगा वो। और आपको देख के शायद जो दूसरा बंदा है जो अकेला कर रहा है, वो आपके पास आएंगे शायद कि अच्छा ये बंदा तो अकेला ही कर रहा है, मैं भी कर सकता हूं। समझ रहे हैं आप? और एक सुगंधी निकलता है उसकी, हार्ड वर्क का एक खुशबू होता है। और वो खुशबू जब होता है ना, भौरा जो है खुद ब खुद आ जाता है आपके पास। ये मेरे साथ हुआ है। मैं यहां बैठा हूं क्योंकि मुझे बॉम्बे में जाके फिल्म करना ही नहीं था। मैं गया ही नहीं, एनएसडी पास किया मैंने 93 में, और 2008 में इश्किया के डायरेक्टर अभिषेक चौबे जी दिल्ली आए। एनएसडी में मैं पढ़ा रहा था, मुझे बाहर मेरे लिए इंतजार करे, और मैं जब निकला मुझे पूछा आप बॉम्बे क्यों नहीं गए। मैंने कहा कैसे जाऊं बताओ, आप जिस किस्म की फिल्म बनाते हो मैं खुद ही नहीं देखता हूं और मैं कैसे उसमें अंदर घुसूं, मुझे दिल ही नहीं करता है देखने का। तो कह नहीं ये अच्छी फिल्म है, आपको करना चाहिए। और मुझे पता चल गया था, किसी ने बताया कि एक इश्किया बोल के एक फिल्म बना रहे हैं। मैंने कहा ठीक है, अगर आप सोचते हैं कि नहीं आप, देन आई गिव हिम 3 कंडीशंस आल्सो। मैंने कहा 3 कंडीशन? मैंने कहा हाँ, कि मुझे रिहर्सल करना है शूटिंग शुरू होने से पहले। उन्होंने कहा ठीक है, और दूसरा ये कंडीशन है कि मेरा जो को एक्टर होगा, जो भी हो, कैमरा के पीछे मेरा जब क्लोजअप होगा, वो बंदा बंदी खड़े होके पूरा परफॉर्म करके मुझे क्यूज देने पड़ेंगे। मैं मुट्ठी में या किसी असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर के सुनने में नहीं करूंगा। उन्हें कहा ठीक है। तीसरा जो है वो शायद आप नहीं कर पाओगे, लेकिन मैं फिर भी रिस्क ले रहा हूं। आपका फिल्म, मैं डबिंग बहुत नापसंद करता हूं, अगर सिंक साउंड है तो मैं करूंगा। कि नहीं सिंक साउंड है तो ठीक है करते हैं। कितना पैसा चाहिए? मैंने कितना दोगे? इतना। मैंने कहा ये तो बहुत है, चलो कर देते हैं। सो दैट्स माय फर्स्ट फिल्म। और फर्स्ट फिल्म छोटा सा रोल है, लेकिन लोगों को पसंद आया। फिर बोलने लगे बंदा है कौन है ना, दिल्ली में रहता है बंदा। अच्छा बुलाओ यार उनको। कि नहीं, बुलाने के लिए उनको ये चाहिए वो चाहिए वो चाहिए, गाड़ी चाहिए, एक ड्राइवर चाहिए, एक 5 स्टार होटल चाहिए। नहीं तो नहीं करना है मुझे, मुझे करना ही नहीं था। अगर ये दोगे तो करूंगा। तो आज भी वही सिलसिला चल रहा है, मैं अभी भी दिल्ली में रहता हूं। तो ये साहस नहीं है, ये आपका डिग्निटी है। अगर आप अपने आप को सम्मान करते हो ना, आप जो काम करते हो, आप जो आर्ट का प्रैक्टिस, कला का अभ्यास करते हो, उसके प्रति आपका सम्मान अगर नहीं है तो कोई सम्मान नहीं देगा आपको। भीख मांगने जाते हैं एक्टर्स कास्टिंग डायरेक्टर के पास, यार मुझे रोल दे दो, तब मुझे अच्छा नहीं लगता है यार। You are a practitioner of art. You should not go to beg for roles. They should come to cast you. How will they know? It is very important. जैसे ही आप झुकने लगते हो ना, झुकना कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है, अगर आप गलती करें तो झुकिए, माफी मांगिए, बिल्कुल, लेकिन आत्मसम्मान जो है ना, आर्ट को, उसको सम्मान करना पड़ेगा आपको. यू हैव टू फाइंड योर लव फॉर इट. डू यू, आप अपने आप को अगले 15-20 साल बिना कमाए, बिना फेमस हुए एक्टिंग करोगे कि नहीं करोगे? नहीं, मुझे जवाब मत दीजिए, खुद को आप अपने दिल में झांक के उस सवाल का जवाब ढूंढिए, बहुत जरूरी है. नो जजमेंट हियर, बट यू मस्ट फाइंड आउट व्हाट यू वांट टू डू. अच्छा, इतने सारे सवाल. अच्छा,
जागरण फिल्म फेस्टिवल का मैं बहुत आभारी हूँ कि मुझे सौभाग्य मिला आपसे सवाल करने का. लेकिन मैं इसी चीज में ऐड करना चाहूंगा सर, ये शुरुआती दौर में सवाल आते हैं, जो भी अभिनय की दुनिया में आते हैं उनके दिमाग में ये सारे सवाल आते हैं, और मेरे दिमाग में भी आए.
जी जी जी.
और मोह माया, घर का प्यार, माया, मनी, ये सारी चीजें दिमाग में आती हैं. लेकिन जब एक फेज आप समझते जाते हैं, और कहते हैं ना कि जब समंदर में कूदते हैं तभी पता चलता है कितना गहरा है. तो मैंने लिखा था सर, क्यों कैद है तो खुद से, जहन ये पूछे मुझसे, गिरफ्त सारी छोड़ दे, ये मोह माया तोड़ दे, ये जाल जो शिकस्त के इन्हें तू अब उधेड़ दे, न लड़ तू अब किसी से, बस तू खुद से जंग छेड़ दे, बस तू खुद से जंग छेड़ दे.
वेरी गुड.
थैंक यू फॉर द मोटिवेशन सर.
हेलो मैम.
I'm Anuja. I'm a student of journalism. My question to you is: we as digital consumers have more influence on the kind of content that can be popularized across digital platforms. So, what's your message to the average digital consumer? How can we shift to more independent films as you work in, and documentaries per se?
I don't think I'm qualified to give a message at all. I just feel that it's a conscious choice, and also to understand for the makers, it is very important for the makers, because we are in a very powerful position that we are sitting. We are creating content, and content can be extremely impactful. There are 5 American directors who were chosen to inspire American youth to join the Second World War, because the youth of America thought the World War is happening across the Atlantic. Why should we sacrifice our lives? So, what did the American president do? He convened 5 greatest filmmakers. There's a documentary on Netflix if you watch it. He called 5 greatest filmmakers, sent them to Europe, got real footage, brought back the footage, created a story, made feature films. And then the feature films were shown across the country. Then the enlisting of the youth started. It's a very powerful medium, and we must use it with care. It is very easy to sell gore, it's very easy to sell sex and violence, because, as Sri Aurobindo says, that those are lower movements, very easily stirrable. You can stir those, tickle them very easily. Sex, violence, and fear. And the entire OTT platforms are filled with that. My teacher says very beautifully, my teacher says that there are very skillful filmmakers, but those vultures are also very skillful. They fly high with the skill to detect what? Caracas. So, skillful filmmakers looking at the lower depths of humanity and making films on them, and because it is easy to sell, and that's a big issue. So the probably 90% of the responsibilities lie on the filmmakers, producers, financiers, actors, directors, writers, all of them together. Audience are, they also have a big responsibility, but I think more responsibility lie on us than them. That's my feeling.
Thank you. Sir, something I want to add to what you said, because it's so beautiful, because I use it in a lot of my interviews when I talk about social media and the kind of content and the kind of bullying that happens to them that is normalized. 8 साल पहले ना एक मूवी आई थी, मुझे बड़ी पसंद थी, बजरंगी भाईजान में, when Nawazuddin Siddiqui's character, who's a media person, and this is from a media perspective that I'm saying. Nawazuddin Siddiqui's character actually in the movie tries to sell the story of Salman Khan as Bhaijan Bajrangi, who's come to drop a Kashmiri Muslim girl to Pakistan. But nobody wants to take that story because they want to sell the story of an ISI agent who has come to spy on Pakistan. तो उन्होंने एक डायलॉग बोली थी जो आज के जमाने के लिए ना बेहद मतलब सही है. नफरत बड़ी आसानी से बिक जाती है, मोहब्बत उतनी आसानी से नहीं बिकती. इफ यू सी today the major movies that do great business are that deal with blood, action and gore in a lot of violence movement, OTT. And it's also because we I understand the industry is feeding us with that also, but we as consumers, it's always demand and supply. जिस दिन ऑडियंस की भी डिमांड कम होगी ना इन सब चीजों के लिए, मुझे लगता है कि सप्लाई भी कम करनी पड़ेगी लोगों को. जो सप्लाई करना चाहते भी है ना, वो कम करेंगी. आई विल नॉट से दैट डोंट वॉच those movies as well, but at least give them a chance. If we demand more of this, then maybe there'll be a huger supply, and then nafrat की जगह पे मोहब्बत जीतेगी. Don't we all want that?
You see, it's an example. Thank you so much. It's such an example how powerful movies are. Bajrangi Bhaijaan, he saw it, he got influenced by it. That particular line. This is popularized. So, film is so powerful. It is so important. That's why how important it is to be responsible with that kind of power in hand.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful conversation. We have a small token of appreciation for you from the Jagran team.